Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Welcome into the Daily Juice live stream. My name is Matt Perrault here off of bettingpros.com, our live stream here on YouTube for bettingpros.com. Happy Turkey Day. Welcome in. I can't figure out why my camera is doing what my camera is doing. It's driving me crazy. It's totally like washing me out. I've been playing with it literally. It's why we're on here a couple minutes late. I'm trying to play with so I don't look like I'm a ghost. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know if it's my Darth Vader shirt or something. I don't know. It's kind of annoying, but welcome in. Happy Thanksgiving. Get ready to eat, boys and girls. Are we excited? What's your meal? I'm cooking a turkey. I haven't cooked a turkey. The last 2 years, I have deep fried turkeys. My wife requested doing the traditional, so we're doing the traditional. I've never done that. I've never cooked an actual. I'm 43 years old. I've never cooked a turkey, like a real roasted turkey. So I'm doing that today. So I'll get off the air here with you guys over the next hour, and then I'll go upstairs and I'll start cooking. And well, hopefully you guys are going to have a very safe and happy and healthy Thanksgiving. We're having a Zoom Thanksgiving in my family. I've got family members in Boston, and I have family members who are in Maine, and we're going to do a whole little Zoom thing. I'm going to take this whole setup I've got here, except for the lighting kit, but the whole setup, and I'm going to go take it upstairs, and I'm going to put it on our kitchen table. And we have one of those long dining room tables, and we're going to have, kind of like a virtual Thanksgiving. So it's definitely different. I never go home for Thanksgiving, so that's the one difference. We normally go away. So the last 2 years, we have gone on like a quasi-vacation, where last year was San Francisco. And so we normally travel on this day, but not back east. We normally travel to the west. We were supposed to go to Seattle, but nope. Because why? Because it's 2020. That's why. So unfortunately... Not unfortunately, but we're safe. We're here. My family has recovered from COVID, so we've had it. It's been in our house. We stared it straight in the face. I was in the hospital with it, so I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to yell and scream about COVID and saying, we should all be able to get together, because hopefully you're going to be safe and you're going to be healthy today. So we were supposed to have 3 games. Speaking of COVID, we were supposed to have a 3-game day today, where the live stream would have made a little more sense and we would have been able to break down, all 3 games. We have 2 games, and the 2 games we have are not that good. But it's football, and it's 2020, and I'm not going to be mad. I just watched a NFL Network piece on the superfan for the Ravens, Mo Gamba, which... just when the kid got on the microphone and started talking, I just straight up lost it. I don't know if you guys watched that piece or not, but I just started crying. I was sitting here just as a dad of a 6-year-old, and I couldn't imagine what that family had gone through and went through, and what the Ravens did for that family was really touching. But the kid was like my daughter. And my daughter, when you put a microphone in front of my kid just goes, and it's the most remarkable thing. It's one of the best things about being a dad for me, is that when my daughter gets on the microphone, she's just a natural, and she just goes. And to see Mo Gamba have that was, that was it. That was waterworks in here for about 5 minutes, and Rich Eisen lost it on air as well, and I don't blame him one bit, because that was an amazing piece. So if you haven't seen that, go search that out. It'll put things in perspective today for you. If you're mad, if you're angry, if you're sad, if you're angry about being alone, it will touch you and sort of rearrange your mind in a very good way, and put everything in perspective, that if you have your health, you have wealth, period. Okay? If you and your children, if you and your family, if you guys are healthy, you have so much. You are so blessed. You are so lucky. There are so much bigger things out there than football and betting and prop betting and everything else going into it. But if you today can take a second to say you're thankful for that, for your health, it's a big deal. In particular, in 2020, it's never been bigger to have that. So not to go soapbox on you, I apologize here at the start, but that's just a very important thing I wanted to get off my chest here to start here. I can't wear Washington's hat. I don't have a Texans hat. I don't have a Cowboys hat. And I don't have a Steelers hat. But I do have a Washington hat. But it says that word right here, the team name on all these hats. So if you ever wonder why I've got all the same hats, so over 3 years, well, not last year, but the year before and the year before, New Era sponsored my draft show. So the last 2 years before this one, again, COVID sucks, but we were supposed to have the draft here in Vegas. So we were going to do something totally different. We were going to be on site. I was not going to be in a casino. I was going to be literally, feet from the stage, broadcasting, doing a sports gambling show on the draft. So we were going to be live on the air doing that, and we had all these different plans, and it was going to be me and a former NFL player, and it was going to be awesome. It never happened, unfortunately, because the draft got canceled here in Vegas. Maybe when it comes back in 2022, we'll do that. But I've got the hats because New Era, the 2 years previous, New Era sponsored our draft coverage. And so they sent me a litany of hats. But here's what happens every year. Every year, I allowed whoever was on the air. You guys might know Patrick Everson from Covers.com. Patrick was on me. He's a great dude, awesome reporter, a guy who gets up bright and early, does an awesome tweet storm. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should. So he and I, here in Vegas, the last 2 years, we've done it with a sportsbook operator. CG Technology was a sponsor of it for the 2 years, but we would go ahead and allow them to pick through whatever hats they wanted. So I got the leftover hats. So Texans are gone, Cowboys are gone, and my bosses also knew this. So my bosses, after the draft was over, my bosses will say, hey, can you do me a favor? Could you grab me like that hat and mail it to me? So like the Lions hats are gone. I don't have a Lions hat. I don't have a Steelers hat. I don't have a Ravens hat. I don't have a Texans hat. I don't have a Cowboys hat, right? I have a Panthers hat, and I have a Washington hat. I can't wear that Washington because of the name that's on the front. It's always bothered me. Just a principle thing. They got rid of it. I'm happy they got rid of it. So I was wearing it literally like a minute before we went on the air. I was wearing the Washington hat, and I was like, I just can't do it. I looked at myself in the camera, and I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to actually wear this thing on the live stream. So I just grabbed the only black hat that I've got, which is, well, that was there. I have a Raiders black hat too, but this is a Panthers hat. So I went ahead and grabbed that and had that. So, okay. You guys are, wow, hello. Okay, guys, what's up? I didn't know who was going to show up today. You guys are all here. I'm excited. All right, that makes me excited. Hey, that makes me excited. All right, let's talk about where we always do, where the money is. Let's first begin with Houston at Detroit. This game kicks off here in about an hour and a half or so, right? Houston on the road. Houston is laying 2.5 or 3, depending on where you are here. Highest number is 3, lowest number is 2.5. Sugar House has got it at 2.5 in Pennsylvania. If you're looking for 2.5, if you want the 3, BetMGM's got the 3. They've juiced it down to minus 105. At FanDuel, you've got 73% of the bets and 76% of the money coming in on Houston minus 3. This is what we're seeing also in Vegas, basically 2-1 on the Houston Texans. No Kenny Golladay here. Matthew Stafford has been on fire, though, on Thanksgiving. This would be his 10th career start on Thanksgiving, and the dude has lit up the scoreboard throwing the football on Thanksgiving. Houston is only receiving 49% of the bets on the money line, 51% to Detroit, but the money, percent of the bets, the money, 58% of the money line money coming in here on Houston to win. The total, 64% of the bets and 67% of the money coming in here on the over 51, which is now 51.5. Actually, well, Sugar House is already up to 53 here. So in Vegas, it's up to 51.5. We bet over 51. You guys, as I always say, you can look and see right here, right there. You got our over. Houston at Detroit, over 51 coming in there on that. So you got so pretty much I'm very comfortable. My favorite football bet of the day is the over in this game. I do expect a big day. I mean, if you're looking for who's going to have big days, I mean, Will Fuller could have a big day catching the football potentially. He's going to be the focal point of the defense, though, so I'm a little concerned about that. He may score a touchdown today. Looking for a receiving touchdown. That may be a prop you want to go ahead and roll with here. But I like the Texans to win and cover. And the reason why I did not do a two-team teaser today, and that's been pretty much, the free play of the day for everybody, is Detroit plus 9 and Washington plus 9. My problem with that teaser is the likelihood for the Lions to lose by 10 is pretty good. And I'm really concerned. Without Kenny Golladay, they scored 0 points last week, okay? I'm not comfortable right now. 9 points, I'm just not comfortable. I'm really nervous about what this Lions team is going to look like here. And yeah, it's an interim coaching staff with Houston, but they can throw the football. And we know what Deshaun Watson did last week against the Patriots. I just don't know about the Lions. So I don't want to get involved here. I'm just not comfortable getting involved here, to be quite honest, and just say, okay, let's tease both these games up. I think the better bet is the over. If you want a side, I don't know how you take the Lions plus the 3. It feels like a trap game, and it feels like the books know something. But I think it's got a lot to do with the previous years for Matthew Stafford as to what he has done on Thanksgiving. So I'm concerned. Houston minus 3. I think that's the right side, but we're betting the over 51 here for the official Daily Juice play. To the late game, Washington at Dallas. Plus 3 at points bets around the country. You'll get plus 3, minus 2.5 at FanDuel if you want to go under. The total is 46. 71% of the bets and 80% of the money on the Dallas Cowboys at FanDuel. That's good news. Okay, that's good news. We want to see that. Keep hammering Dallas, Cowboy fans. Keep thinking Dallas, Dallas, Dallas. It's beautiful. We're on the money line. 62% of the bets, which is kind of weird. 62% of the bets are on Washington on the money line, and 65% of the money is on Dallas on the money line. So really split there. That could be a pros versus Joe situation if you want. I don't know why the pros would want to lay minus 149 on the money line. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. When we're laying minus 150, why? If you like the Cowboys, it's 2.5. It's not that big of a spread to go ahead and bet and lay that. Let's see. Over 58% of the bets are on the over. 53% of the money at FanDuel coming in here on the over. 47 is the high. 46 is the low. FanDuel's got 46. Sugar House in Pennsylvania's got 47 if you want to go on that. So, okay. So those are our 2 games here. Couple things on the live stream on the number information you're going to see over here. I like Washington. I get a half a unit. I like Washington plus 3, and I like Washington on the money line. Okay? I'm fading all the Cowboy people, and here is why. If you didn't listen to the Daily Juice this morning, okay, here is why I'm going with the Washington football team. 1, better quarterback. Andy Dalton versus... Look, Alex Smith is an incredible story. Just straight talent alone, he's a more talented quarterback than Andy Dalton. 2, I think the receiving core is underrated for Washington. Terry McLaurin's going to play. There was a little bit of a concern about him not playing, but he's going to play, so that's big to have him out there. And then you've got a defensive line that is littered with first-round picks for the Washington football team. Yes, I know they've got some injuries in the secondary. A couple of safeties aren't going to play. I know all that. I'm comfortable because I don't think Andy Dalton's going to have any time. I think Andy Dalton up against, behind a very patchwork offensive line, I think Washington's going to eat today. And I think they're going to devour Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton's going to have a really rough day today. I don't think he's going to throw the ball much. I think he's going to get sacked a ton today. I think they're going to try to run the ball with Zeke, but I'm not so sure that's going to work. I don't like this Dallas offense against this Washington defense. I'm going to take the best unit on the field. That's Washington's defensive line, and I'm going to take the better quarterback here. I think Rivera's done a really good job with Washington, even though they're not showing it in the win column. I don't like the Cowboys. It's a buy high or sell high spot here on the Dallas Cowboys after their win over the Vikings, which frankly shouldn't have happened, but the Vikings have their own problems. Washington, half a unit on the money line. Washington, half a unit on plus 3 today against against Dallas. Look, there are a lot of trends and numbers that point towards betting the favorites today. I mean, everyone's been saying the 33-13 against the spread for on Thanksgiving. That's what happens consistently where the favorites come through. The craziest stat, Dave Sherapan told me on the radio yesterday that in the first game against the spread over the last 19 years, the team that plays in the early game, the favorite is 18-1 against the spread in the first game. So that would be Houston, minus 3. Why? I have no idea why. But that's a crazy, trend to do whatever you want with it. But 33-13 for favorites, but 18-1, the favorite on the early game, the first game of the day on Thanksgiving, 18-1 against the spread. It's a pretty significant number. You fade that if you want, but I think the Texans are the right side at minus 3, but I like the over more, over 51. All right. Let's get to some of your questions before we get to some prop bets. All right. Okay, some of you guys are looking for this Gonzaga game, okay? We can bring this up now. Okay, let's bring this up now. All right, here are the happy Thanksgiving prop bets for us here. We're going to start. Can you see that? Why isn't it? There we go. So this is the game that we're talking about here. So on the podcast last night, we talked about Nova in Arizona, and we talked about the over there. I got 154.5 for Nova in Arizona today. I did not have a number at the time of the taping of the podcast. Didn't have a number. That's the number that I played. I've seen it as low as 149. Congratulations if you get that. Best number I could get was 154.5. I think Nova in Arizona is going to be an up-tempo 3-point barrage today. Neither team plays great defense right now. Nova did not play well last night at all. Near to Arizona, by the way, but I think this is a big game, a big opportunity for both teams to score. So, like the over in that game, and then this is for a quarter unit now, okay? This is just to have something on this game. This is a very hard game to call. Very, very hard game to call. Gonzaga at Kansas. I'm going to lay the 4 based upon the depth that Gonzaga has coming back and the hype around their entire roster. I'm not going heavy in this game, okay? That is just to watch something, to have something on the game for Gonzaga -4, all right? So for college basketball, we're going Nova over 154.5 with Arizona State and Gonzaga -4 against Kansas. Those are our college basketball plays today, okay? Those are the 2 plays in college hoops for the Daily Juice. I am, there's only so many days, so many hours in a day. There's only so many games I can bet on. You know, perusing through the catalog of games to bet on today for college basketball was hard, I'll be honest, because this is the one weekend where we have a litany of college basketball, a litany of college football, and NFL Thursday and Saturday and Sunday. So you've got, Thursday NFL, Friday college football, Saturday college football, into Sunday NFL with college basketball all 4 of those days. So it's a little bit like drinking out of a fire hose. And I'm trying to be a little bit more pragmatic with how I'm handling my bankroll because I don't want to be throwing around, I don't want to be having half my bankroll in play. So I'm trying to figure these things out as what games I like the best and not get caught just kind of firing on games that I have a decent lean on. I want to know exactly what's going on. I have to have a pretty good feeling for it. So today we've got 3 NFL plays: Houston over, Washington money line, Washington +3. For the NFL. College basketball, 2 games, over Nova, Arizona State, and Gonzaga -4. Okay, we'll get to the prop bets here in just 1 second. Then I'll get to you. I'll tell you guys about here in one quick thing. But okay, Dallas team total. Let's get some of your questions here. Dallas team total over 23.5. No, no, I don't like that at all. And I don't like that bet. I don't. If you look at the total's 46 or 47, and I like Washington. So and I like Washington's defense. So no, I would go under. If I was going to bet that, I would bet under. I'm not going to touch that. But if I was going to bet a team total for Dallas, I'm going under. I would go under on that. Washington money line, Sophie. Yep, Washington money line's my play. I like Washington to win the game today outright. The beginning of the Daily Juice podcast to make a good ringtone. Well, you're the second person to ask that question because I sent that to somebody already. Somebody asked me to email them the Betting Pros music, and I did. So, yeah, you're not alone on that. You can reach out to me, and I can do my best to get you guys the ringtone. If you want to make it into a ringtone, go ahead. I'll have the Daily Juice theme music everywhere. It would be great. Dallas does not get to 24. I'm with you on that. Washington alternative spread -6.5. Ooh, that... Depending on what you get for juice on that, I mean, +150, +180. I mean, what's the juice on -6.5? That's a pretty significant alternative spread. That's a lot. You might get +250 on that. That's significant. That's 9.5 points. That's a lot. So, yeah, I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, I think that's good actually. I mean, but it's, I'll take the +3 personally. But if you want to get some plus money out of that, I don't hate that. Let's see the Darth Vader shirt. Yeah, that's just one of my we're doing. It's a dad shirt though. It's a joke. How to be a better father. It's a dad shirt. And happy Turkey Day to all of you too. Vegan dinner. I don't hate vegans, but come on, dude. I mean, I have vegans in my family. I have family members who are, my wife often says that she would be a pescatarian if she could, but she likes steak and I like steak too much. So, yeah, I like eating animals. Am I a bad person for that? I like eating animals. Okay. Again, Matthew, just FYI, we don't do DFS stuff here, okay? So in case you guys are curious about DFS or who to start or who to flex out, we do gambling here. I don't know if the Fantasy Pros guys are doing a live stream today. There's only 2 games. It's supposed to have been 3, but only 2 games. But if you want that, you can guys go over to fantasypros.com. They got you covered on all the great stuff for DFS and season long and all that stuff. We're doing gambling here. The best bet for Kansas and Gonzaga. Well, I told you, okay, -4 Gonzaga. That's what I've played at 0.25 units. It's just to have something on the game. I think Zaga wins. I think they're deeper. A lot of hype there. Some turnover for Kansas. But like we saw yesterday, I mean, there were some crazy. I mean, my best bet of the day yesterday was UNLV. What happened? 11.5 point favorites. They lost by 20 at home. All right? You can have all the hype and talk about you, and then you can stink. I mean, Villanova almost lost to Boston College as 14-point favorites. They were lucky to get that victory. BC was in it all the way to the end. There's just, I mean, we had Drake against Kansas State. Drake on the road. We had that outright winner yesterday on the money line, right? But that's, you just don't know sometimes when it comes to these teams, brand names, roster depth. I mean, it's early in the year. There's going to be some really wow scores early just because college basketball is so funky with practice time and whatnot. UNLV's got to go to Asheville, North Carolina on Saturday to play North Carolina now after losing by 20 at home to Montana State. Yikes. And deep fried to everything. Yeah, I loved it. Deep fried turkey is incredible. Just be safe doing it, okay? If you're going to do it today, be safe. Make sure you're outside. Make sure nothing's above you. Do not put a wet or frozen turkey into your hot oil, okay? You want to start a fire. You want to blow yourself up. You want to burn your house down. That's how you do that, okay? The bird must be bone dry, and the bird must be defrosted, right? If you do that, and you lower it in slowly, not fast, deep frying is all about slow, right? Nothing fast about it. Slowly lower the turkey. Make sure it's dry. Make sure it's not frozen at all. No water anywhere on that bird. Dip it down into the oil, and you should be good to go. The most dangerous part about deep frying a turkey is putting it in and taking it out, okay? Just keep that in mind. Keep a fire extinguisher close by in case you need it. Wear gloves. Be safe. But deep frying turkey is fun if you're smart about it. If you're dumb about it, you can be in a whole world of trouble if you're dumb about deep frying a turkey. But if you're smart, don't be drinking, by the way, and do it. Don't be like your dumb uncle, 3 sheets to the wind out there going, I'm going to drop the turkey into the vat of oil. Don't do that. Although I don't know why you're on your uncle anyway this year. But be careful, be safe, don't be dumb, okay? Just be sober and be careful. But it's amazing. Deep frying turkeys are, last 2 years, Cajun, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let me see. I don't know what that means, Josh. I wish my family was that thoughtful. I'm basically spending the day alone with my games on. Well, good. I mean, look, I hope that you're able to have some fun with us. I hope that we can be your family. I'll be on the Discord chat as much as I can. I'm going to be cooking for most of the first game. So on the second game, maybe. Again, I'm really mad at Fox because Gonzaga and Kansas should be a night game. Somebody should have figured that out. I know what Fox is doing. They're counter-programming, saying, if you don't like NFL football, hi. But if you don't like NFL football, why don't you go ahead and watch college basketball? No. I mean, I'm annoyed. I have to have a second screen that's going to piss off my wife. I don't like that. I mean, I want to watch both games. I want to watch Gonzaga and Kansas. And I also want to watch Washington and Dallas. Like, it's a frustration that I've got on that. I don't like the counter-programming angle, but that's just a frustration that I've got. I'm not a fan of it by any means, but, it is what it is, unfortunately. Let's see. Has the Nova number come out? Yeah, I got it at 154.5 is the Nova number that I got. CeeDee Lamb or Sammy Watkins. I already talked about that. We aren't doing that. Bloody Mary in hand. Yep, cheers, Scott. I'll be joining you here in a little bit once I get off the live stream here in half an hour. Okay, yeah, prop bets are coming. They're coming. Okay. Let's see. Points bets is either team to win by less than 10.5 at minus 134. So close games for both? No. Again, Detroit has there is a real potential Detroit gets killed today, okay? There's a real potential that Detroit loses by 10 plus. So no, I wouldn't bet that. I don't like that because I don't trust Detroit to keep that game close. I think Watson and company may put it on them. I think there's a real possibility here that it's going to get ugly for the Lions. And then Matt Patricia could be gone come Monday. It's really possible. There are people in Detroit who are saying that, look, the owner's really unhappy, new ownership's really unhappy, and you just have to make a decision here. If I know you've got Bob Quinn, the general manager, is from the Patriots, and they've got it kind of tied at the hip. So maybe you do what the Falcons did. You just blow out everybody, and you do what the Texans did. You just blow out everybody. It's very possible. But Patricia's, come on. It's just not. I just can't see it. Patricia's in deep trouble. And again, these are guys. I have affinity for guys who are from my part of the country and who, Bill O'Brien's from my hometown of Andover, Massachusetts. I went to UMass Amherst. The smart school at Amherst is Amherst College. That's where Matt Patricia went. They're about my age and they've done incredible things as coaches. So I always root for those guys to do well. But I think it's pretty obvious things are not going well in Detroit and things were going horrifically thanks to Bill O'Brien, the general manager, trading away guys like DeAndre Hopkins. So you had to make some decisions there for sure. 7-point teaser, Houston, Detroit to over 44, and Washington plus 10 from Jimmy. I don't hate that. So you're taking the 51 and you're teasing it down, I guess 52, and you're teasing it down. And you're taking Washington from 3 to 10. Well, you cross the key numbers of 7 and 10. You get to 10, so you got a push potential there. But, yeah, I don't mind that. But you're going to pay some pretty expensive juice on that. I pay minus 125 on teasers at Circa Sports here in Vegas. I'm guessing that would be somewhere in the neighborhood, a 7-point teaser. You're paying 150, 145, 150, somewhere in there from a juice perspective. So a little expensive, but I don't hate that. All right. Let's talk about the prop bets as we always do here. I got to check and see if Dan Harris has sent me any prop bets for today, but here is where my bets are. These are where I got these prop bets. Deshaun Watson, let's start with him. Deshaun Watson, we are going, can you see that better here? There we go. Deshaun Watson, over 31.5 yards rushing, minus 143 at BetMGM. Here's the reason. Man-to-man defense is what you're going to see a lot of man-to-man today. Deshaun Watson's going to have to pick apart a man-to-man defense, much like he just did against the Patriots. Man-to-man defense, and I think this is a chance for him to have a good day. I almost took the over passing yardage for him, but I decided to say, you know what, instead, I think Deshaun Watson tucks and runs today. I think he picks up a lot of yards today. Lions like the man-to-man defense a lot with Patricia. Same thing the Patriots just played. Similar defensive principles, and I think Watson's seen a defense like this already. So, zoop. Watson out of the pocket after defensive linemen get up the field. I'm going over fast track as well for Watson in the dome. We're going Watson over 31.5 yards rushing. It is juiced up a little bit here, okay? It's juiced up a little bit to minus 143, but I do like it for Deshaun Watson over 31.5 yards rushing at minus 143. Prop bet number 2. Jordan Aiken, over 32.5 yards receiving, minus 115, again at BetMGM for the tight end for the Texans. So what did I see in the last game? Aiken was a major part of the passing attack with man-to-man defenses because he goes up against linebackers or safeties, and he can beat those guys. He's faster than them. So I'm kind of using my eyes here as to what I just watched last week and expecting a very similar game plan and a very similar performance for Deshaun Watson, throwing to Aiken his tight end, and I think that number 32.5 is not that bad. I think he can get there. I don't think that's a horrible number at 30, 31, 32. You basically 2 or 3 catches, and he should get there for the Texans. So he was a big part of that offense yesterday. A lot of attention obviously going to go on Will Fuller. So you send the guys along, you come underneath, you hit Aiken, you dink and dunk to him and move down the field and pick up first down. So we're going Aiken over 32.5 yards in the first game. In the second game, only one prop bet I like in the second game. I was staring at a lot of them, but only one I like. Andy Dalton, the number one prop on the Betting Pros prop bet cheat sheet. Under 252.5 yards passing. That also is at BetMGM. That's where I bet that. So all three of those bets are at BetMGM. Under 252.5 yards passing at minus 115 at BetMGM at 0.25 units. Here's why. I'm taking Washington, right? So if I like Washington, I'm liking Washington because I don't believe, personally, I don't believe that there's going to be a lot of time for Andy Dalton. I think he's going to get pressured. I think he's going to get sacked. I think he's going to turn the football over, throwing picks. Going under 252.5 yards passing here for Andy Dalton and this team for the Cowboys. I think they're going to try to force the ball to Zeke. I do. I think they're going to try to get the ball to Zeke. I just don't think they'll have much success doing it. And I think this defensive line is going to key in. I know the secondary is not great for Washington, but if you don't have any time, it doesn't matter. I don't care if Amari Cooper can get wide open down the field. It takes 2 or 3 seconds to get there. If Dalton doesn't have 2 or 3 seconds because Chase Young is in his face, good luck. This defensive line for the Redskins. Look, I said it. Nah, bad on me. Sorry. For Washington, I remember in the preseason, I was talking to Joe Theismann a bit about the defensive line. Joe Theismann is very close still to the Washington franchise, obviously, and not to name drop, but he came on my radio show, and I was breaking down basically like, what do you think of Washington? And he was like, look, the defensive line, there's been so much capital, Kerrigan, and there's just been so many high draft picks on the defensive line for Washington. This is the type of game they got him for. This is the type of game they brought him in. They number 2 pick overall, Chase Young, the guy who's been destroying people. This is the game. Prime time. The entire country watching this game. It's time for Washington to unleash that defense on Andy Dalton. Don't like him throwing the football. Under 252.5 for Andy Dalton. The projection is 235, or 236, somewhere in that range. So we get a couple of 10, 15 yards of value there on the prop bet cheat sheet for us. We're going under Andy Dalton passing yardage. So Deshaun Watson over 31.5 yards rushing at minus 143 at BetMGM. Jordan Aiken over 32.5 yards receiving at minus 115. And Andy Dalton under 252.5 yards passing at minus 115 for BetMGM. And also for a quarter unit, we're going Gonzaga minus 4 against Kansas. All right, let's see. Chase Young's going to be in his grill. I definitely agree. Isn't Washington down both cornerbacks? I think it's down both safeties. I don't think it's corners. I think that down both. Again, I don't care, okay? There's injuries in the secondary for Washington. I'm not debating that point. Yes, I don't care. I know you can talk. Wait, I don't care, okay? He's not going to have time. He's going to get destroyed. I expect this defensive line to run, literally rough shot over this offensive line for the Cowboys, because it's not the same offensive line that we've seen for the years past. There's injuries all over the place. Guys moving around. That's why they haven't run the ball effectively this year. Andy Dalton's not having a big day throwing the football today. Don't see it. Zeke over 17.5 yards rushing. I could see that. I do. I can see that for sure. Wasn't last year the one year where the underdogs covered? I mean, maybe. I don't remember last year. I'm just, 33-13 is the number everyone was throwing around for against the spread teams on Thanksgiving. Favorites have gone 33-13, and then in the first game, 18-1 against the spread for the favorite. Does that matter? I'm not playing a side. I'm simply playing the over. But if I was going to play a side, I 100% would be on the Texans. Okay, Texans minus 3 is what I would do. I would not trust. I would not trust this awful defense for the Lions. They give up over 400 yards per game. They don't take the football away. Lions defense is bad. Okay, so again, the reason why I'm not teasing it, because I think there's a real potential for the Lions to get blown out today. All right, but the blowout could be like 42-20, all right? Like, you just have a ton of scoring done by Deshaun Watson and this Texans team, and they put up a big number, and that's why I like the over 51. I think Matthew Stafford is going to come out and try to show out, and I think they're going to pull out every trick play they can find to score because they're embarrassed that they got shut out. I don't like the Texans defense at all, so that's why I think you're going to see points being scored by the Lions. I just think the potential for pick sixes and fumble, scoop, and scores. I mean, I just think the game's going to be ugly. I expect it to be a poorly played football game with no defense and a lot of points for Houston and Detroit. Every team to score in the first quarter at plus 600. Just score? Just field goals? Yeah, every team to score. So you need 4 teams to. Yeah, why not? That's a great flyer bet at plus 600. Sure. I mean, don't go crazy. I mean, don't throw like $200 on that. But I mean, that's not horrible at plus 600. That's a decent flyer to have 4. To have Washington, Dallas, Detroit, and Houston all score in the first quarter. Don't hate that. No, I don't hate that at all. I like that. New Mexico and Utah State. I literally isn't that 2 0-4 football teams playing today? I haven't even taken like one look at that. I mean, I didn't spend any time handicapping the college game today. I have no desire in that game, so maybe I guess so. How about Stafford over 270, Matt? It's on the prop bet cheat sheet. Okay. I mean, I don't hate that. I mean, I think Stafford's going to have to throw because I do think Stafford's going to be down. So I think, they don't have Swift, so they don't have their best running back. I don't hate that over 270. My question is who's catching the football, and I wish if Golladay was playing, I'd be all over that. But the fact that Golladay is not playing, I think, is significant. It's why I cannot see. It's only one player, and like this is a little bit of an inside look at sportsbooks. Sportsbooks don't move numbers based upon wide receivers. They never do. They rarely even move it. They move it a point, kind of. It's more like a half a point or a point for a quarterback. Like a couple of years ago, maybe it was like 2 years. Maybe it was last year. The first game that Patrick Mahomes was out after that knee injury, it was a pretty eye-opening thing here in Vegas because the number the next week without Mahomes moved, I think it was like 2.5 points, which was significant. Everybody was like, what? That's crazy to see it move like that. So just to give you an idea, like a little bit as to what you're expecting there, I'm concerned about Golladay not being there. I think it's a significant injury. I would say it's a bigger deal than the books think in terms of not having Golladay. Let's see. Washington alternative minus 6.5. It's plus 250. Woo! I don't hate that. Nope, don't hate that. Brandon, thank you. Appreciate that. Glad you got the Drake pick yesterday. No worries. Got to inject the deep fried turkey. Got a great injection I make. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. UNLV pulled the reverse cover, favored by 12.5 and lost by 13. Yeah. George says, so should I test my rocket arm by lobbing a turkey 20 yards into the pot? Yeah. Go ahead and do that. What's my go-to side dish? Austin wants to know what's my go-to side dish. I don't make a lot of the sides. The way my wife and I handle Thanksgiving is that I cook the bird and she does the sides. I'm just I have to have mashed potatoes with turkey. Cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, and turkey. It's kind of a thing. I'm good. I don't care about the vegetable. I don't care. I mean, as long as there's something green on the table, I'm good. So broccoli, spinach, asparagus. I'm not too picky on that. So I'm cool with that. I don't like overly sweet things. So like sweet potato casserole, I'm not a huge fan of that. When I was living in the South, one of the more interesting things was like how much sugar was put on that on sweet potato casserole, and like marshmallows, and that whole deal was like what the. And I just never really got my head around that because that was sort of like a dessert during dinner, which I don't really like. I like to have dessert with dessert. So I don't really have a go-to besides I have to have mashed potatoes and cranberry sauce with turkey. Otherwise, it's just not Thanksgiving. Good old New England style IPA. Okay, yeah. I mean, look, I have a gluten allergy. All right. So, and we discovered this when my wife figured this out. I was about 38, about 5 years ago. My wife figured out that I have a gluten allergy. And so I can't drink beer. Beer and me have had kind of a gone relation. So my drinks have all been whiskey. I have a wet bar out here, and I have 7 types of whiskey out there, I think it is now. And so I'm Bullet, I'm Elijah Craig, I am Makers. There's a couple of local brews, one in Utah that I love that's got a really cool whiskey. So I mean, I'm a whiskey guy. So I used to be a vodka guy, but after I couldn't drink beer anymore, I became pretty much a whiskey guy. So IPAs, I mean, I'll go crazy. All right, I mean that's great, but I'm gonna have probably 2 or 3 fingers of Bullet, in the afternoon, and sometimes you guys, if you listen to the podcast enough, you probably can tell if I've been drinking or not just based upon my voice and how, my energy level and what I'm doing. But, from time to time, I will have, a couple of glasses, a couple of drinks. I love wine, okay? I do love wine too. It's just, I'm not like a wine guy where I sit there and crack open a bottle of wine on a Tuesday night. That's just not really kind of me. But I will have, one finger of whiskey. I will do that, and I'll go ahead and down it and have that. So, that's kind of how I go. So I wish I could drink beer, but beer and me kind of have a love-hate relationship, and it just, I can't really, my stomach doesn't really like it when I do that to it. What do you think about teasing the spreads and the totals for NCAA basketball 4 to 5 points? Okay, so this is a great conversation we're having on the Discord chat. If you guys come into the Discord chat, bettingpros.com/chat. Okay, I hope you all can come in, bettingpros.com/chat. Teasing college football and teasing college basketball. It's negative expected value. All right. I'm not a math guy. All right. I look to smarter people. You should read the book, The Logic of Sports Betting. I recommend it to everyone. If you have a sports gambler in your family, you want the best book for Christmas, for the holidays, for Hanukkah, for whatever, Christmas, whatever, birthdays, whatever. The Logic of Sports Betting by Matthew Davidow and Ed Miller. All right. Matthew and Ed, both of guys who've been on my show multiple times. At some point, I'm going to bring Ed Miller on the podcast on the Daily Juice to help us talk. If you hate math, I hate math, okay? But find a way to like it in some form or fashion, because it's important when we're doing sports gambling. There is way more math than I ever thought I'd have to do and get into when I'm talking about betting on sports. But it's a lot of math equations, and it's a lot of really smart people, and you can break it down from a game perspective, but DFS has taught us that, math matters a lot when it comes to sports betting and sports gambling. So it's negative expected value to tease college football and to tease college basketball, meaning over the long term, you're not going to win. Over the long term, you're not going to win. So don't do it. More often than not, just bet the side you like. So, for instance, if you see Gonzaga -5, just bet Gonzaga -5. Don't tease it down to a pick. Because chances are you're doing it to make yourself feel better, not to actually win the bet. So you feel more comfortable giving the Lions 9 points today, right? You feel more comfortable doing that. But is it going to work that way over the long term, right? Daily Juice gang, you guys know what I talk about. Long and slow, right? That's what we're playing here. We're in the long game. We're betting every day. We're listening every day. We're building the community. We're doing these live streams. It's about low and slow. We're not coming in with big, huge 10-team parlay lottery BS, right? It's not what we do. We're not betting $10 to win 1,000 and banging our chest when that hits once every 10 years, right? And so, hey, I want a $1,000 teaser or a $1,000 parlay. That's great. You've lost $5,000 doing it, okay? That's why. No parlaying, okay? If you're new to the podcast, if you're new to the live stream, we don't parlay, guys and girls. We don't parlay, all right? Parlaying is negative. Parlays build the sportsbook's bankroll. Our job is to build our bankroll. Do not parlay. It looks fun. It's all really cool. I got a 5-leg going, and if I get this last leg, I'm going to win 1,000. Okay, great. How many times have you bet it to get that one win? To get that one payout? Okay, so you feel great for a couple of days, a couple of hours, whatever it might be about hitting that parlay. What happens the other 350 days you're betting? What happens the other days that you're throwing together these parlays and you're just chipping away and chipping away and chipping away? And then, your $1,000 bankroll, whatever your bankroll is, all of a sudden now it's down to $450 and you're like, what the hell happened? I hit that parlay. How the hell am I down $500? Because you've been parlaying. And it's just that slow bleed. It's just that slow taking away. It's like being at the table, right? And they want you to keep on playing. When you go to a table game, the whole goal is to keep you playing, because the odds are against you. The longer you play, the better it is for the book, the better it is for the casino. The more games you bet and the more times you're negative to the odds, the more times you're going to lose and the more times they're going to take your money. All right? That's the game. Okay? The game that we're playing is we want to take money out, not put money in. Sorry, hitting my mic. That's what we want to take. We want to be pulling money out. We want to be saying, oh, man, I'm up 5-6 units. I'm up 10 units. I'm up whatever we are up, right? I had a guy yesterday email me who said he had never been sports betting before, and he started with $50 in his account, and now after 2 months, he's got $500. And he wanted to thank me for doing that because he's buying I think he said he's buying everybody Christmas presents with that $500 he's won from a $50 deposit. Now he's up to $500. That's awesome, right? That's the daily juice. All right. I'm not going to talk to the guy who's betting $2,000 a game. You don't want to hear from me. You're going to look at me and think I'm a moron. Okay, fine. That's not the point of this. The idea is to have fun, make a little money, and build a community of sports gamblers that like to do what we all like to do. That's the daily juice. That's what we do. That's what we've done over the course of 5 months, and we've taken this little tiny, literally from nothing, okay? We had nothing, no podcast, no audience, nothing. Daily Juice started July 8th of 2020, all right? That's in the middle of a god dang it pandemic. We started a podcast that now is international, okay? We got guys on this from Toronto who are writing in, and we've got a bunch of different people coming in and ask us questions here from all over. I got people in Germany. I got people in London, people in Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Mexico, Canada who are listening to this podcast. This thing started 5 months ago. So, I mean, that's what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to do here on the Daily Juice. Samson wants to know, how do you feel about Iowa cutting down the nets in April? Don't like Iowa's defense, so I don't think so. Look, Luka Garza is an amazing player. I'm concerned about the Hawkeyes defense, and I can't stand Fran McCaffrey. Sorry. I can't stand Fran McCaffrey. So that style of coaching I want out. I don't like it. I don't approve of it. We first got rid of Bob Knight. That was a good move. We then got rid of other coaches, and the latest was getting rid of Triple G, as I called him, Greg Marshall, at Wichita State, which was a great step forward in college basketball. I hate the fact the guy got an $8 million parachute and we pushed him out of the college football plane or college basketball plane to $8 million, which is disgusting. But his behavior was historic, awful. His wife came after me. Okay, that's how bad that family is his wife came after me. So, yes, I'm very happy that Greg Marshall's gone, but I don't like Fred McCaffrey. I put him in the same boat. Put him in the same exact boat as Knight, same exact boat as Marshall. Just a matter of time before he crosses a line and he'll stop winning, just like Marshall. Marshall stopped winning, and so people came forward. When a coach is winning, you can't touch him. He's untouchable, and he can do whatever the hell he wants. When he starts losing, then you can get him out, which is what happened with Greg Marshall. Let's see. Patricia should be fired. I can't argue that. Big time thanks for the Drake play. You're appreciated. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Appreciate it. You being part of your daily routine. What do you think about starting Danny Dimes over Lamar, guys? Speaking of teasers, same game on William Hill. UNC up to 11.5 and the over down to 62 is plus money. Is it really? Woo, Scotty, man. Is it really? All right, so if you guys haven't listened to the Daily Juice Thanksgiving podcast, please go do so, because I gave out more picks than I ever have given out on a Daily Juice, okay? We gave out 8, right? 8 picks. So a bunch today, a bunch tomorrow, and a bunch and one on Sunday in the NFL. The North Carolina teaser, that's attractive. It's plus money to take Carolina and put them up. Carolina to 11.5, from 5.5 to 11.5, and take the total down. I bet both sides. I bet plus 5, and I bet the over 68. So, yeah, if it's plus money, I think that's tremendous value if you can get that on plus money. I'll have to go look for that myself. I don't use William Hill all that often, but I do have a William Hill account, so maybe I need to go take a look at William Hill after the podcast is over. Jay says, what's up from Hawaii? What's up, Jay? I love Hawaii, man. Speaking of Hawaii, that's kind of crazy. So I spent the first time I had fried turkey. How about that? There's a tie-in. The first time I had fried turkey, I was my first job out of college. I was the play-by-play voice of the University of Virginia women's basketball team. The year before, my senior year of college, I was the play-by-play voice of the UMass women's basketball team. That's how I got the UVA job in Charlottesville, Virginia. So I was doing a pregame show for football, and I was the play-by-play voice for UVA basketball with Debbie Ryan, who was a Hall of Famer and was just an incredible person to be around. Scary, scary human, but incredible person to be around. So intense, great basketball coach. But they went to Hawaii. the next year. So both Thanksgivings, back-to-back Thanksgivings, one when I was a senior in college, but then I was alone because I was 22 years old. I had graduated college, and I was alone in Hawaii. But my girlfriend at the time, her uncle lived in Hawaii on the north side of Oahu. And so I had never met them, but it was my girlfriend's family. So I spent Thanksgiving with strangers who cooked 2 fried turkeys. And I had never had fried turkey before. So there you go. That was my first time having fried turkey as a 21-year-old 22 years ago in Hawaii over Thanksgiving. So that's a cool little tie-in there. First time I've had a Hawaii say hi on the live stream, but there you go. I have been to Hawaii on this day for Thanksgiving dinner. Very cool. Let's see. FanDuel has Dalton at 246. Dang. That's 7.5 yards of value. Ouch. I don't know. That's low. No, we don't do that. Swift is out. Right. I said that, right? I said Swift's out, right? I said no Swift, right? I said that. I thought I said that. Let's see what else. Marvin Jones plus 105 to score a touchdown. Worth a look? Yes, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. At plus 105, plus money on that? Absolutely. Under 46 for Dallas and Washington. If I was going to play it, I would say the under is probably the play I would play there, but I don't have a good feel on that because 46 is low. That's one of those, 45 is one of those key numbers where if you're going to play overs, 44 is a great number to play over. 46 to play an under is kind of like the lowest number you really can go to play an under, at least in my mind, consistently. Sometimes you play, sometimes 38, 39, 40 comes in, and it's just like normally there's weather that when you see totals like that. 46 seems a little bit low, though. It's a little scary. I mean, because 24-23 is a pretty low-scoring game by today's NFL standards, and that's a total of 47. So I don't know. I don't have a great deal. Are rye whiskeys gluten-free? Okay, so here's what happens. During the fermentation process, the gluten in the rye is actually taken out. So technically, you're using a gluten substance, but in the fermentation process, it eliminates the gluten. So as you go through the fermentation in the whatever they're in, the barrels or cast iron, whatever they're in, the gluten goes away. So whiskey isn't technically gluten-free, but it is gluten-free. It is not a gluten substance. So that's your little lesson there if you're someone with gluten, because whiskey is always vodka is always gluten-free, but potato whiskey will advertise itself as gluten-free, as will, what is that vodka in Texas? Tito's. Tito's vodka advertises as being gluten-free as well because they use rice. So they say we don't even go near it. But for me and different people, I don't have celiac disease, so I just have a gluten allergy. So it's a different type of problem that I've got. But whiskey is never bothers me. Anti-parlays, rants are my favorite part. Sorry. I mean, I try to help, right? It's one of the things I was taught early when I moved to Vegas, when I was like, parlaying. And I got around some really smart people, and I'll be always, I don't know if you guys know the name Matthew Holt and Dave Sharapan. There's a lot of guys who I'd been around who were just like, Matt, this is why. Let me show you the math. You shouldn't be doing this. Jason Simbal is another guy. Just really, really smart sports gambling people from behind the counter who would come in and tell me, you shouldn't be doing this. And I mean, I have been an anti-parlay person for about 5 years now. Let's see. I think Matt will say the teaser is a 6-point move and 2 bets only. Parlay can be. Can I say one quick thing here before we wrap? I can't stand the fact that why are some companies calling a same game parlay when it's a same game teaser? Like they say same game parlay and they give you the odds, like they move the number for you, so it's not really a teaser because they get to dictate what the number goes to. And then they're calling it a same-game teaser. It's not a same-game teaser, okay? If you move the number, it's a same-game parlay. If you move the number, it's a teaser. They're just dictating to you how the number moves. So they call it a parlay because they don't want you to call it a teaser because you control teasers, they control parlays. So that is a whole new mind bleep going on right now with the sports books. I haven't come around yet on my opinion on that just yet, but I'm probably going to be against it, because if they put the number out there and they're the ones setting it, there's a reason for it. I often say this. You guys have heard this before on the live stream and on the podcast. If the books are doing stuff, there's a reason for it. The books don't just do things for being nice, okay? Oh, they gave me my money back when Nick Chubb stepped out of bounds. How nice is that? Okay, great. Do you know why they're doing that? They're doing that for the publicity, because they spend $100,000 a day on marketing, and if they give you your money back, they may have $75,000 on that one side, right? So they give that money back. They give back $75,000. Guess what? They've saved $25,000 because they were going to spend it in advertising anyway, okay? Always remember what the books are doing. The books are not nice, okay? There is no emotion there. They are ruthless. If you remember that the book is ruthless, you will always understand why they do stuff. They do stuff for their own benefit, okay? So whenever they make offers to you guys, whenever they put things out there, whenever they refund your money, whatever it might be, you may love it and you may like it, but just always remember, and some of it's really nice. Some of it's like, okay, that was awesome. It was really kind of you. The Purdue games, okay, that awful pass interference call. They gave everyone their money back. That's awesome, right? And then other books felt that they had to, because first it was points bets, and then it was BetMGM, and then it was, I think it was FanDuel. So it kind of just, but to always remember that. Always remember that the books are a business, okay? They're in business to make money, not give you money, to make money. McLaren over 73.5 yards receiving. I thought about playing it too. It's a little high, but I thought about playing it too. Let's see. Okay. George, 100,000 a day. Yeah. What do you think these guys spend on a Sunday for advertising, or Saturday for an That's nothing. I just use that because it's an easy number. The books spend way more than that on national marketing, on TV, on NFL games. Oh yeah. Remember, playoff. We always talk about how much money it is to advertise during a Super Bowl, and you're like, it's $35 million for a 30-second spot, right? Yeah, that's crazy. But don't forget, they've been advertising every week. Every week. And the spots are extremely expensive just on Sunday Night Football. The spots. It's the number one show on TV. It's extreme. It's like $300,000 a 30-second spot. I'm just making that number up, but I'm ballparking. But that's kind of what we're talking about on Sunday Night Football. So we always get caught up on like the Super Bowl, but you forget that these companies have been advertising. They've been advertising during the games all season. And on Sunday night. Today, advertising on Thanksgiving, it's stupid expensive. That's why you always see the big guys, the Targets and the Walmarts and the Amazons and the Apples, right? You see the same people, because they're the only ones who can afford to do it. They're the only ones that have the pockets deep enough to advertise during Thanksgiving. When you have a captive audience. Everyone's at home. Even more now, your captive audience, right? Your Lowe's, your Home Depots. That's why they're the ones who are advertising, because they're the ones who've got the money to do it. So $100K, yeah, no worries. That's $100K is not a big deal at all. Brian's on the Dalton over. Okay, sure. You can fade that pick if you want. I mean, again, prop bets are 0.25 units for that reason, because they're very volatile, and how the game goes, injuries, all sorts of crazy things can happen. So just to kind of reset here where we're going here. For our prop bets, Deshaun Watson over 31.5 yards rushing. We're going Jordan Aiken over 32.5 yards receiving. Andy Dalton under 2.5 yards passing. Gonzaga -4 against Kansas. And the play that we added to the Daily Juice is Nova at 54.5. And that's a little better. Nova at 154.5. We're taking the over for Nova and Arizona State at 154.5. So, all right, guys. That was awesome. On a Thanksgiving. That was really, really fun. Remember the Daily Juice podcast every single morning. If you're not a subscriber to that, please, please, please do that. Subscribe to it where you get your podcasts. Remember, we're coming up on the Davante Adams Packers autographed helmet giveaway. If you've not left a review on Apple Podcast or Stitcher, do that. That giveaway is coming up here at the end of the month. We'll give away the autographed helmet for Davante Adams. Take a screenshot of your review on Apple or Stitcher Podcasts. Go to bettingpros.com/juice, and there's a place to put the picture in, and you will be entered into winning that autographed helmet. Also, if you win the helmet and you're a subscriber to the YouTube channel, which you're on it right now, hit subscribe, please. And if you hit subscribe, you'll get a $50 gift card from Pristine Auctions on top of the Devontae Adams helmet if you're a subscriber. The guy that won the Clyde Edwards-Hilaire helmet, he also won the gift card. So he won the helmet and the gift card. So very cool stuff. We want to give that away to one of you guys to give you the gift card to go get even more memorabilia from Pristine Auctions if you're a sub to both. And you leave the review. So I think we're approaching 400 reviews. I haven't looked at it lately, but on Apple, which is incredible for reviews. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. We're back on tomorrow morning. The Discord chat, okay? If you're not on that and you're hanging out alone today, don't be alone. Hang out with us. Hang out with your fellow Daily Juice people. bettingpros.com/chat. You're going to click on a little link and it's going to bring you right to it. I'm in the Daily Juice channel, but there are, college basketball, there's NFL football, there's all sorts of different channels where you can go and chat and talk to your fellow gamblers about plays that they're making and watching games. It's an awesome way to sweat games together, in particular on a holiday that's a little tough, okay? This is a tough holiday. This is a tough day for a lot of people. So, hang out. Don't be alone. Hang out with us virtually. Be a part of the Daily Juice community, and I'll be in there as much as I can. I've got, family duties, obviously, and things I got to take care of myself. But if you have a chance to hop in and just take a look at it, let's do it. We're about 30 minutes away from kickoff here between the Texans and the Lions, so that game on CBS. Enjoy it. Over 51, we're playing that, and then Washington moneyline and Washington +3 are our plays. My name is Matt Perrault. You can also follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Happy Thanksgiving. Please be safe. Thank you for joining us. We're back on Sunday for another live stream for Week 12 of the NFL. And Dan Harris and I are taping our Week 12 podcast tomorrow, which will video drop here on this YouTube channel for the Betting Pros NFL podcast we do each and every week. Coming up tomorrow, we'll record it. It'll drop probably tomorrow afternoon before Week 12 of the NFL. Have a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matt Perrault. Talk to you on Sunday for another live stream here off the Betting Pros YouTube channel.